Hello, Dr. Vink. Do you want to give us a quick audio check-in?
Hello.
Welcome. Can hear you fine. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Dr. Vink, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Great, thank you.
Hi, Dr. Vink. Oh, man. So Representative Bowling, Dr. Vink, who's under quarantine.
Dr. Vin, good seeing you.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm really excited about this.
So we've kind of scripted where everybody's standing, Reggie.
Okay.
You're standing right here. Here is the oath. And here's everybody's name. Jessica Bueno, Reggie Carrillo, Alicia Vink. And so you've done this before.
Yes.
I know what you're doing. And so you'll stand here under social distancing. Reggie will stand there. Jessica stands there. Alicia's there. And we'll do our oath, our swearing in the way that is best for you. And then we'll do our photo ops. And then in about a half an hour, we're going to get into our first board meeting.
First, what? Oh. Awesome. So, all right. So the way that we'll operate this is I'll go ahead and I'll read the first line, and then I'll have you guys repeat after me. Once we get to your names, I'll actually go in order. So we'll say I, Jessica Bueno, and then we'll say I, Reggie Curro, and then we'll say I, Alicia Vink, and then we'll continue from there. Cool?
Yes.
All right. So we'll go ahead and get started with the oath of office. In addition to any other form of oath or affirmation specifically provided by law, any officer or employee shall take and subscribe to the following oath or affirmation before entering upon the duties of such appointed office of employment. So, State of Arizona, County of Maricopa, I, Jessica Bueno.
I, Jessica Bueno.
State of Arizona, Maricopa County, I, Reginald Carrillo.
I, Reginald Carrillo.
State of Arizona, County of Arizona, State of Arizona, County of Maricopa, I, Alicia Vink.
I, Alicia Vink,
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly
do
swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will
that I
support
will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
of the States
the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Arizona,
and
and
the
the
Constitution
Constitution and laws of the State of Arizona,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear
that I
true
and allegiance to the same
and
and
allegiance
allegiance to the same,
and defend them against all enemies,
and
and
defend them
defend against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and
domestic,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully
faithfully, impartially
discharge the duties of the office
discharge
discharge the duties of the
Governing Board Member for Phoenix Elementary School District 1
governing board member for the
School
Phoenix
District.
Elementary
School District
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, how about that? Welcome aboard. Welcome to Phoenix Elementary. It's finally official. After the elections and after the waiting and after the trainings, and welcome aboard. We're very excited to have you all with us.
Thank you.
Dr. Diaz, do you want to welcome everybody?
For setting all this up. Thank you for the support for being here. I'm excited for the work ahead of us. I know we have a lot of challenges this year. And I know we have a team that has the ambition and the passion and the leadership and experience to overcome these issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate this opportunity to serve my community, and I look forward to working with my colleagues and the rest of the district to make sure we progress our district in the direction that will serve all our community. Thank you.
Alicia, did you want to say anything?
I just am grateful to be here and excited to work with everybody. Thank you.
And there's a couple of things that I'd love to say just on behalf of the work that's happening at the state. I can tell you Phoenix Elementary School District is one in which I'm proud to have this district as part of my legislative district. Just the ingenuity, the drive, the passion, the diversity of this district is one in which I truly believe is the rock stone of our state. And how goes the Phoenix Elementary School District goes the state of Arizona. So I'm looking forward to this board, brand new board over the last, this is a totally different board, which I think provides a opportunity to continue to work on the great things that are happening and with Dr. Weeks and all of the great leaders that you all have here. So congratulations again, and I'm excited to work in partnership.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say, I think we're on mute, so it's fine, but,
Are we?
yeah.
Oh, just, no.
Oh,
No, we're
okay.
good.
I just wanted to say that I am so excited for you guys to be on this board with us. I know that each of you are so committed to equity and just progressive values, and I'm excited to see how we can really accelerate and enhance the great things the district is doing. There's so many amazing things that I can't wait to share with you guys and just get your feedback on. And I know that your ideas are going to just serve our kids so well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, after the 1,100 employees of Phoenix Elementary, the nearly 6,000 students and their families, it's a big job. And so thank you very much for committing your time and talents to making sure that our district can perform at its very best. So again, welcome aboard.
Computer and all that, but looking forward to having this first board meeting with you guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Good evening, Troy. I was just wondering if you could hear me.
Yep, you sound great. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hola, bueno.
All the art. The heck?
All the old buildings.
Beautiful.
And Carmen. Pasa.
Do we have Dr. Weeks on with us?
I do not see him yet.
Okay. Dr. Weeks, are you there? I see you just popped up.
Yes, I just now joined. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Well, good evening. It is I'll call the meeting to order at 6:17, and want to welcome our new board members to the very first board meeting today. Super exciting. Hope you guys were able to tune in to see their swearing in. And with that, I will hand it over to Dr. Weeks for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Diaz. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And can we please have roll call?
Laura Diaz,
Present.
Carmen Trujillo,
I'm here.
Jessica Bueno,
Here.
Regional Carrillo,
Here.
Alicia Vink.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And can I please have a motion to adopt the agenda?
This is Carmen Trujillo. So moved.
And do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you. And is there any discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Okay, and with that, the agenda has been adopted, and we will move on to item A5.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the governing board, members of the community, thank you so much for being here on January 7th. Again, I want to welcome our new governing board members and welcome back our two remaining governing board members and our cabinet this evening. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. For our awards, recognitions, and announcements, and if I get a little too loud, just let me know and I can tone it down just a little bit. Prior to winter break, Capital School hosted a virtual kindergarten Polar Express reading Zoom session. Jessica Payne, Operations Director from Kids Need to Read, was the special guest reader on an exciting journey through the book, The Polar Express. Not only did Ms. Payne read to students, but every kindergarten student received their own book, high five magazines, and stuffed animal reading buddies. Thank you, kids. Thank you, Kids Need to Read, for your generous donation and instilling the love of reading with Capital students. Fantastic. Congratulations, Capital School, and thank you so much to Kids Need to Read. Did anybody have an opportunity to kind of peek in on the reading of the Polar Express? I got to sneak in for a few minutes. It was pretty awesome to watch. The reading was really very well done. So thank you. Next, Lowell and Dunbar schools received a donation of 925 Phoenix Sun face masks through a partnership with the Phoenix Suns, Rex Chapman Foundation, and APS. The masks were delivered to the two schools for use with students. Thank you for partnering with Phoenix Elementary to help outfit our students with the very trendy face masks. They are a hot commodity. They certainly are with the performance of the Suns. So congratulations. Congratulations, Faith North, for being selected as one of 20 recipients to receive a $5,000 school challenge grant from the Arizona Diamondbacks Foundation. These funds will be used to create an outdoor classroom at Faith North. Congratulations to Faith North, and thank you so much, Arizona Diamondbacks. In December, the Lowell team presented their PBIS virtual strategies at the Phoenix Metro PBIS meeting. The strategies were specifically developed to ensure students are supported during online learning. One strategy shared was Lowell's Class Dojo point system. Students can earn points by demonstrating Lowell's skill of the week or by volunteering in class, answering questions, speaking in complete sentences, completing work on time, or other ways teachers feel it's appropriate for classroom engagement. When students earn 100 points, they receive a positive postcard mailed to their homes by IEIS Jonathan Short, Mr. Short. The postcard serves as a tangible celebration for the student and their family to celebrate during the distance learning. In addition, students were eligible to win prizes like branded pens, lanyards, sunglasses, and duffel bags, along with coupons from Peter Piper Pizza and What a Burger. What a way to engage students using PBIS framework and celebrate students' positive behaviors, which leads to academic success. Congratulations to the Lowell team for thinking outside the box and leveraging PBIS in a positive way during this time. One of the many PD options for the December 7th CNI Curriculum Instruction PD Day included a homegrown Math EL asynchronous learning opportunity. This collaborative effort showcased a math integrated EL lesson by fourth grade teacher, Miss Kaylin Liu at Capital School. Our language acquisition specialist, Kristen Kleider, and math curriculum alignment specialist, Lisa Fryer, along with Miss Liu, worked together on the lesson plan using the video in order to highlight specific EL and math engagement and problem-solving strategies. The core lesson was provided using the Ready Mathematics materials via Nearpod, so the audience was also able to see the amazing virtual teaching tool, Nearpod, in action. The PD was viewed by 92 PEST teachers and is available on the CNI website for future use. Dr. McLaughlin, do you have anything you'd like to add to that celebration?
Certainly. Just a huge thanks to Ms. Liu for being vulnerable and putting herself out there and allowing colleagues to learn from her. That takes courage, and we appreciate her vulnerability in doing that because we know that learning is social and we can only learn from one another. So we appreciate Ms. Liu for working collaboratively with our specialists to make that happen.
Nice job. Nice job. Thank you very much to all. 8th graders at Hurd School participated in 4 high school presentations, including Phoenix Union High School District Overview, Central High School, Phoenix Coding Academy, and Phoenix College Preparatory Academy. Students chose 3 high schools of interest and applied to at least one of those schools over winter break. A big shout out to the Hurd team for preparing our students for high school. That is super cool. Very nice, nicely done. Preparing for high school, big step. The Student Services Department has embraced the virtual environment by developing paperless procedures for special education paperwork submission that will continue once in-person learning resumes. Nice. By going paperless, we are able to reduce paper usage on school sites, the paperwork management duties of special education teachers, therapists, and psychologists, and the filing work required of the special education office staff members. This will allow us to focus more of our time on customer service and supporting school staff. That is awesome. Congratulations, Student Services Department. In November, Dunbar Principal Gina Millsaps and IEIS Lori Nielsen conducted 22 home visits to connect with students and families. During the home visits, they delivered 6 weeks worth of instructional materials for students, along with school supplies that were donated by Rainbow Pack, a treat bag filled with snacks, gift card to Fry's, courtesy of Corvin's Legacies generous donation. Ms. Millsaps and Ms. Nielsen, the smiles on our students and families' faces were priceless. The Phoenix One team is dedicated to serving our community. That is very true. And thank you so much for all of the celebrations that we acknowledged tonight. There's a ton more, but these are some of the highlights. And I just want to congratulate everyone in the Phoenix L family for their hard work and welcome everyone back to school. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Weeks. It's always great to celebrate our staff and talk a little bit more about the great things we're doing for our community. We did skip one item, which was item A5. So,
oh, you know what? We certainly did, didn't we? Who knew? One of the two things we had to do tonight.
All right. So with that said, I would like to nominate Dr. Elora Diaz to remain our board president.
And I would like to second.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate that nomination. Dr. Weeks, I've never facilitated this, so do I just operate the same way as like a normal vote, or?
Yes, we would call for the vote. I can call for the vote if you would like.
Yeah.
And so we have a nomination. It would be appropriate to see if there were any additional nominations for president. Give that a minute or two. Seeing none, I believe we have a first and a second for Dr. Diaz to remain as governing board president for the 2021 calendar year. And so it's really not my place to call for the vote. Reggie, would you like to call for the vote?
Yeah, just say I call for a vote. What's the
That's
proper
correct.
phrasing? I
That's
call
right.
for a vote.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Say nay. Well, thank you guys so much. It really is an honor to be able to serve again as your president. It's a lot of responsibility, not one that I take lightly. And I'm very committed to making sure that we're all doing what's best for our students, and we're putting equity at the front and center of every single decision that we make. And I'm so excited and thrilled that we have this board makeup, because I know we're doing so many amazing things in the district already. And I can only imagine, with all of our great minds and our passion and progressive values, our students are going to thrive and benefit. And I cannot wait to hear all of your voices and your contributions. So thank you so much.
I have a quick question, because I've never done this before myself. Would I also include Dr. Laura Diaz's vote in this as well?
I believe that is appropriate to vote for yourself? Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks for asking the question. And congratulations, Dr. Diaz. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on to item B. So Dr. Weeks, I'll hand it back to you.
Well, let's see. So we did the awards, recognitions, and announcements, and I believe we're on to the data dashboard. Yes. So
Dr. Weeks, I'm sorry to cut you off here, but do we need to discuss the vice president position, or are we planning on doing that at a later meeting date?
I think it would be appropriate to bring the policy for the vice president's position back to the January 28th meeting.
Okay.
Because right now we have a rotating vice president's system, and it would be a good opportunity for the whole board to come together to determine whether or not they want to continue that policy or perhaps create a static vice president for the entire calendar year that would support you, Dr. Diaz, should you be unable to attend a meeting and so forth.
Yep, I completely agree, and so we'll bring that back and have that discussion, and hopefully elect a new vice president.
Yes. So if the policy, just for the benefit of the other board members, currently the policy has a VP under rotation based on your the first letter of your last name, and so looks like Ms. Bueno, you would be the January, February, March vice president. So by default, you are the acting vice president. On the 28th, if we were to change the policy, then we would have an election much like one we have tonight, and we would elect a vice president for the entire year. And so we can bring that back and have some more discussion about that at that time. And I'll just put that down as Dr. Diaz as a future agenda item.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Weeks, and sorry to cut you off, so we'll go ahead and resume to item B1.
All right. Tom, you're here tonight.
Yes, I am.
And this is your last governing board meeting.
Yes, it is.
And so after 45 years in public education, we are, what did Cronkite say?
I think he said, and that's the way it was.
And that's the way it was. Would you like to do the honors of doing tonight's COVID report?
I would be glad to. Mr. Troy Harris from MIS will bring up the Maricopa County dashboard first. And congratulations, President Diaz, and welcome governing board members, cabinet, and those in the audience. I'm sure we're all familiar with the processes that the county has for reporting the COVID statistics. And I wanted to begin with the county website. And right now we're looking at a screen that shows all of the zip codes in Maricopa County. And as you can see, it's red, which means that we have a substantial spread of COVID within our city. And Troy, if you would drop down and go to the elementary school district. And you can see here all of the elementary school districts. No, just we'll look at the city first, Troy. All of the elementary school districts are also red in the substantial level. Let's look at the high school district, Troy. High school districts are all red. Let's take a look at the unified districts. And they're all in the red as well. And so Troy, if we would go back to the elementary school and identify Phoenix Elementary. It's outlined in blue. And if you open that, Troy, and if you click on the little box to maximize that box, the county provides 2 weeks of data. It begins by indicating our overall risk level, which is substantial. The county is recommending that the learning scenario we use at this time is virtual with on-site support, which is what we're doing. And then the top box is today's report, January 7th. The report is updated by the county every Thursday, and it's about 12 days behind. So this data reflects the late December data. And as you can see, our case rates per 100,000 people in our school district are 520. The percent positivity for overall in our school district is 15.6. And the COVID-like illness, which is the number of folks that either are in the hospital or visit urgent care or go to the emergency room, is at 12.9%. And if we look at the, the data from December 31st, we can see that we actually had a bit of a decline in our school district overall in the case rates per 100,000. However, our percent positivity has increased. Percent positivity is the percentage of people who test positive after having the COVID test. And then you'll notice that last report, we were at 12.8. And so we've had a slight increase in the number of people in the hospital or visiting urgent care. And now, Troy, if we would go to the district website. Our district website provides information for us, and we'll just begin at the top and we'll work our way down. Several board meetings ago, no, stay up a little bit. There we go, right there. District approved metrics and benchmarks. A couple months ago, our governing board approved the hybrid learning model, which is in the middle of this table, so that when we decide to return back to in-person learning in the hybrid model, which would feature either still virtual learning for those families that choose that, or those that choose to come back onto the campus, we would have a yellow, green color coding system for the 3 different cases. And if we scroll down, we're looking specifically at our 7 zip codes where our schools are located. And as you can see, we have the 7 zip codes listed, and we're tracking the percent positivity in, I should say we're tracking the cases per 100,000 people, the percent positivity, and the COVID-like illness. The COVID-like illness is a county, is a consistent percentage for the entire county. So you'll notice that all of our zip codes are at 12.9%. We're fortunate that we have 1 yellow in percent positivity. So the number of folks who tested in 85004 actually had an improvement in reducing the number of people testing positive. And then the cases per 100,000, you can see, are all in the red. For those that are new, I wanted to explain the red and the green asterisk. It was a useful way for staff and for the board member to, at a glance, identify trends. The red means we're trending in the wrong direction, and the green means that there's a trend in the correct direction. However, the trending in the correct direction for the green is not enough to move us from red to a yellow or to a green. And if we scroll down just a little bit more, Troy, you can see that we've been doing these reports weekly as they come from the county. And if we go down a little bit further, you'll notice that we've changed the format of our report down a little bit further. We have the zip codes on the left margin instead of across the top. So we have been working in that way. And as we scroll down, you can see how the numbers have actually trended in the wrong direction over time. We had a lot of greens and yellows, but then all of a sudden we began to see the spike and have the reds. Troy, can we go to the spreadsheet that shows the zip codes of all of our students? The other data that we look at is this, what we have commonly called the 77 zip codes where our students live. All of our students are important to us, and we wanted to be sure that we were tracking the data from the neighborhoods exactly where our kids live. And as you can see in September and October, we were having, you know, a lot of yellows, but with the red dots, you can see that we began to trend in the wrong direction at about November. And I wanted to let the board know that at the bottom of this, you see that right now we're looking at the cases per 100,000. If we click on the next tab, we're looking at percent positivity. And so this would be the percentages of those people who test positive. And again, there's a variety of colors, but most recently it's been rather consistently red. And then the COVID-like illness is the county-wide number, which remains consistent. And you can see the trend has gone from green, which lasted for quite a while, to a spike in November, which kicked it over to the yellow. And then in December, it kicked it over to the red. And Troy, can we go to the 2021 spreadsheet as well? I felt it was important that we start a new spreadsheet for the calendar year for 2021. We reran the numbers, and so Troy, if we scroll down, I think there were 84 zip codes now. Okay, so it's 82 minus 2 lines, so it's 2 rows, so it's 80 zip codes that we're looking at this particular point. And today, when we did this report, I noticed that there were some zip codes that weren't in Maricopa County. So here you can see that we have one student that's in Pinal County. And Troy, if you scroll up, you'll see another zip code that's in Pinal County. And unfortunately, that data isn't included in the Maricopa County data report. So I suppose we could go back and find that data if we would really need to. But I found it interesting that we had 4 children come to us from Pinal County. 85140 is in the Santan Valley part of the state, and the other zip code is Maricopa, the city of Maricopa. And so what we've done here is we've started a new spreadsheet. At the bottom, you'll see case rates, percent positivity, and COVID-like. And we'll continue, if you scroll up to the top, we'll continue with this spreadsheet for 2021. Because this is my last time to do this report, I would like to just let you know that Dr. Weeks will continue with the reporting at board meetings, and a staff member from the Human Resources Department will do the tallying in the various reports that we're looking at here. And I just would like to say it's been an honor to work in the school district, and this particular project at the end of my career has been really very interesting, but it's also been very revealing and an indication that we really do need to follow the CD guidelines of washing our hands, social distancing, and wearing our masks. So that concludes my report this evening.
Thank you, Tom. As always, very well done.
Thank you.
Articulated well. Does any board member have any questions of Tom, who is our walking dictionary for data on this and the board metrics or anything along those lines?
Mr. Lind, I just want to thank you so much for your time and dedication here in the district, and thank you for helping us to understand such a complicated problem and just keeping us abreast on how our district has been impacted. These reports have been incredibly helpful, and just thank you for setting up this infrastructure, and we'll definitely miss your presence when you're gone, but good luck, and we hope to see you around.
Thank you very much.
And same thing, I want to echo those sentiments of Dr. Diaz. Mr. Lind, I want to thank you for providing and developing this strong launching pad for us, building a strong foundation for us, especially us new governing board members going forward to review this data, and thank you for breaking it down for us. I wish you well in your next journey in the next phase of your life. I wish you joy.
Yeah, thank you.
This is Carmen Trujillo. Ditto on those kind words, and just Happy New Year, Tom. I hope you enjoy your time, you and your family, and have a great rest of the year, and then whatever else should come afterwards. But thank you very much for your service and everything.
Yeah. Well, thank you all very much. And you know, it's quite a shift in my life to all of a sudden retire. But as I look at my life, I'm kind of thinking, the best is yet to come for me. And I wish that for the school district as well. I know that we've all been working very hard, and there are many wonderful things occurring in our district. And I just know that many more wonderful things will occur. So keep the faith and keep up the good work.
Well said, Tom. Thank you very much.
Are there any additional questions for Mr. Lind? All right, well, hearing none, we will go ahead and move on to item C, community communications. Dr. Weeks, how many do we have tonight?
6.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and set a timer for 3 minutes.
Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, the first one comes from Cindy Morton, a staff member. Greetings, PESD #1 board member, Superintendent Weeks, and PESD #1 community. I come to you with a heavy heart. This has been a challenging year, one that none of us were prepared for. I have personally witnessed countless examples of teachers, administrators, support staff, and students band together and meet the day-to-day challenges of teaching and learning online. We all know this is not the best situation for any of us. However, I am hopeful that once the COVID-19 infection rates in AZ get under control, we will be able to safely re-enter our buildings. In the meantime, this is our reality. I am specifically writing you with the concerns about the proposed change to Monday schedules. I am very aware that attendance on Mondays is problematic. I am just not convinced that more screen time in live Zooms will make any improvements. In a typical school year, it is the parents and guardians' responsibility to ensure the students attend school. I know things are challenging for everyone right now, but isn't that still the case? I feel like the teachers are taking on a heavy lifting in all of this, and we shouldn't be the only ones making sacrifices. Personally, I struggle with side effects of migraines from the already abundant amount of time I spend looking at the computer. I fear that many of my students are dealing with screen fatigue as well. I also struggle with keeping up with my workload as it is. Mondays are spent planning lessons, creating work for the students, grading, and most of the IEP meetings we have had occur on Mondays. The idea of attempting to complete all these tasks in my personal time is not something I want to experience. As many of the other teachers will express tonight, we are exhausted, stressed, and burnt out is all but inevitable. Please don't add more to our already full plate. The second one comes from Jennifer Chavez, also a staff member. Good morning. I know that today you are deciding on what to do with the whole going back to school in person. Me as a parent and staff members of the district feel that we shouldn't expose our children to this virus. It's already bad enough that us as parents have to go out there and expose ourselves to support our families. I feel that at this time we should continue with online learning. I have 2 daughters that go to Kenilworth and would not like to expose them to other children or staff that we have no idea where they have been or if they have been safe. Thank you for your concern. The third one comes from Valerie Plancart, also a staff member. Dear members of the board, thank you for taking the time to listen to the community input. I'm a kindergarten teacher at Kenilworth and am proud to be there. Our district consistently strives to offer the highest quality education to our students. I greatly appreciate the efforts. I would like to address a few issues as possible truths. Attendance has a direct correlation to student success. Highly performing teachers have the direct correlation to student success. Curriculum also correlates to student success. Assessments are what determine student success. The reality, we have great teachers delivering great lessons. The situation is that we are trying to retrofit brick and mortar curriculum to a virtual classroom. It doesn't work. Unless we have the dedicated student interactive curriculum with movable components for students to complete their work, animation to captivate interest and challenge them, students are not able to stay engaged or resort to spending their time on other self-serving priorities or don't come to class. We know that the state standards and how to teach the concepts. What's missing is interactive practices for students to perform along with the instruction without the assistance of parents that allow them to see immediate success. An inordinate amount of my time outside of the school day is spent on creating interactive activities for students. Benchmarks does not accommodate online interaction. Studies Weekly does not provide substantial content or online interaction. Our science requires students to go outside and collect leaves in the desert or make observations and comparisons when then describe the difference through the seasons. How is that possible? The math program requires students to use manipulatives, yet does not have an online component for manipulatives for them to complete their work. Online assessment does not equate to practice. Working with bulky brick and mortar books and newspaper articles while sitting in front of a computer with limited desk space and trying to engage in the lesson is not the best we can offer. Many of our students do not have the capability of printing the assignments on which to write, and due to COVID, we are not able to provide printed copies. Kids need to learn how to write letters and numbers to trace them for practice. Teachers need to receive their work to measure the progress. Parents end up having to sit with the student to help them. Our parents are great, and I so appreciate them, but feel we are placing a great amount of responsibility on them to fill the void of the retrofitting attempts. State and curriculum assessments are geared for brick and mortar learning, but we are not there. Our situation has changed. Teachers and students have adapted to the change, but our peripherals have not changed. I am not opposed to spending more time with the students. However, performing the same process that has flaws or an extended amount of time, expecting the miraculously different outcomes is an unrealistic expectation. None of us could have foreseen how long we would be online or when it would end. Money is an issue, but we lose students to competitors for the lack of attendance and our scores plummet. We still offer even greater monetary deficit. Let's keep it great. The fourth one comes from Nicole Goodwin, also a staff member. I am writing in regards to the potential schedule change to synchronous learning on Mondays. As it was presented to us, the decision is being made to increase attendance on Mondays. My concern is that this decision was made without teachers' input, but more importantly, without parent input. We do not know why students are not attending on Mondays or if they will start attending because of this change. One of the upper grade teachers at my school stated that whenever she calls home about student absences on Monday, the parents say they are at work and though thought they were attending. I also know that the schedule change will mean a change in daycare or work schedules for parents of my students. All parents need to be surveyed. Please seek their input before making a decision. Thank you, Nicole Goodwin. The fifth one comes from Jay Barbuto, also a staff member. Good evening, President Diaz, Governing Board, Dr. Weeks, members of cabinets, and community watching at home. My name is Jay Barbuto, and I am the proud co-president of the Phoenix Elementary Classroom Teachers Association. Before we get started, we'd like to send out our condolences to the family of the former ESPA president, Ro Romo, who recently passed away due to COVID-19. Roy was a staple at the Edison community for many years and a friend to all staff, students, and parents. His ability to advocate for his classified colleagues was admirable, as well as his dedication to ensuring that students were learning in the safest and cleanest school possible. May his memory be blessed. We would like to congratulate Dr. Vink, Ms. Bueno, and Mr. Carrillo on their swearing in and officially becoming a part of the Phoenix One family. We look forward to working with you over the next few years to ensure a strong education for the students of Phoenix number 1. On behalf of the members of our association, we urge you to continue following the set metrics for reopening schools. The virus is completely out of control in our communities due to the ineptitudes of the governor of Arizona. He decided to prioritize outdoor dining and large corporations instead of the safety of our students and educators. Because of this, we've become the leaders of our state. The leaders our state lacks. You've kept in-person learning closed and listened to the science instead of bending the rules. Please continue to lead with a safety first mentality. Next year, teachers will be flocking to Phoenix Elementary from outside of the district because you decided to look out for human life. Thank you for this year. And the last one comes from Latoya Jones, also a staff member. Good evening to our new and continuing governing board members and superintendent weeks. This past Monday, staff sat through a district presentation of data that focused on students' attendance and test scores. The district correlated poor test scores with Monday's asynchronous schedule. Their solution was to return to a more, quote, traditional schedule, with live instruction now occurring on Mondays. It does not seem that the district considered the fact that we are in the midst of a global pandemic. The overemphasis of testing data overshadowed the reality that our kids and their teachers are learning from home through a computer for the first time ever, during the most unprecedented time ever in our nation's history. Another reality is that these current curriculums were not purchased with full-time virtual learning in mind. Therefore, teachers are spending more hours converting these lessons into engaging and interactive instruction. Now you propose to take away the precious preparation time for a correlation that makes no sense in the virtual setting. You are asking us to do more with inadequate resources, not to mention accepting less pay in the coming years because of poor planning. Many teachers were not given the materials until almost fall break. The PDs we are requiring to attend on Mondays afternoons are already exhausted. With this proposed schedule, teachers will lose their time we need for planning, contacting parents, IEP meetings, and the like. We are all doing the best we can. The pressure on our kids to meet growth and the level of responsibility and stress being placed on our teachers is enough. Please extend the same measures of grace you asked for us at the beginning of this year. Best regards, Latoya Jones.
Thank you. And as a reminder, we cannot comment on public comments during this time, but we do take into consideration every comment that is provided to us. And we thank you for the time that you took to share your thoughts and perspectives with us. And as a reminder to our new board, you are welcome to ask for board updates on anything that comes to mind with these public comments at the end of the board meeting if you so choose to do so. So with that, we will move on to item D, approval of the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
Carmen Trujillo, so moved.
And do I have a second?
Reginald Carrillo, I second.
And are there any items of discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And with that, the motion passes and we will move on to item F1.
Yes, Madam Chair, item F1 is a request approval to delay the plan to transition from the distance learning model to the hybrid learning model until the metrics are achieved. That's the administrative request of the board. As background information, As Mr. Lind had mentioned, we are in the red. We have been moving in the red, and the other day I was watching the news and we were #1 in the world for case rates. And so it's really no surprise that the administration would be asking the board for this this delay. The delay is to delay the January 14th original return to in-person or hybrid instruction that we had set before we went on break. So what we would be doing here is to delay this date until such time as the board approved metrics have been achieved, which is the yellow, green, green, which was what Mr. Lin had explained to us earlier with regards to the board approved metrics. So a yes vote would say, yes, we're going to not return to in hybrid learning on January 14th, but instead continue with the distance learning model until the metrics are achieved.
Thank you, Dr. Weeks. So with that, we'll go ahead and open it up for a vote, and then you guys can ask questions. Do I have a motion to approve the delay to transition from distance learning model to the hybrid learning model until the metrics are achieved?
This is Alicia Vink, so moved.
And do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion?
I had a question, and I'm not sure if it fits or not, but are all of our learning labs still open, or have we requested any waivers for those to be closed? Are some of our campuses completely closed right now?
We do have our Dr. Vink, this is Larry Weeks. We do have our learning labs that remain open. Our feeding program to our community remains productive. And our special needs populations with IEPs are being served. EDP program over at HERD continues. And so what we were doing before the break, we will continue to do now. I have not submitted a waiver to close the learning labs at this time, to request to close the learning labs at this time.
Okay. Do we have some campuses that are completely closed right now due to COVID conditions, or is that just
So technically, Dr. Vink, all of our schools are closed with the exception of the learning lab, with the exception of the special needs IEPs, and there's some activity at the preschool for preschool special needs, things like that. So they're all closed. We're all on distance learning with exception. So for example, the campus might have a space where the food distribution will be happening, or at Magnet and Edison, the learning labs are going on. There's some specific programs, Denise, you're gonna have to help me with this, at some of our other campuses, Garfield, Lowell, where they've provided some support to families and students. And when that happens, we provide an update to the governing board of what those exceptions might be.
Yes, that is true, Dr. Weeks, but actually those programs are not on site right now. We took a break until it looks a little better, because everything's in the red. All of our students are learning virtually right now.
Even our learning lab students.
Oh no, I apologize. Our learning labs are still open. Our
Yes,
learning
okay.
labs are open at Edison and Magnet.
okay? I'm sorry then. Can you clarify, Dr. McLaughlin, who has gone from receiving services on site to back to virtual then?
Yes, so we had EL students at Garfield Those students are not on site. They are receiving online distance learning, just like all our other students, until January 19th. All of our SPED services that were on site, our EDP at HERD, our appointment-based services for our students on IEPs, those are all virtual until January 19th.
Oh, that's right. I stand corrected. Thank you, Dr. McLaughlin.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? All right. So hearing no other points of discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. With that, the motion passes, and we will move on to item H1, board reports and requests. Are there any board reports or requests?
Carmen Trujillo, I've got a couple. Let's see. I was going to ask about the vice president spot, so I'm glad that's already been discussed. I would like to know when our next communication update's going to be, and request again that Miss Mary Hickey Reynoso be in attendance, so that way with the new board and everything, we can all be on the same page and know what's going on with all of our schools. I would also like to get an update as far as when printed materials all stopped. I didn't know that we weren't supplying any materials to students. So I just wondered if that was across the district or if different schools were doing different things. So I'd just like to request an update on whether or not, or I guess my question would be, what supplies are we providing to our students at home? And that's all I've got.
So, Ms. Trujillo, just for clarification, would you like for Ms. Reynoso to present to the governing board on the on her activities?
However,
or would you just?
However they would like to handle how that goes, I would just like to request that she be a part of it. So we get like a full, trying to think of the word, just a real clear picture of where we're at as far as the communication plan that we're working off of, I guess. What's being done, what's not being done. So just really included, I guess, to get us all on the same page, since everything else is still kind of new since Miss Sarah's been gone.
Okay, we're happy to do that.
Thank you kindly.
Dr. Weeks, to add on to Ms. Trujillo's comments, I specifically would like this presentation to be data driven. So where I know there's a number of strategies and recommended metrics that were presented to us. So I would like to see quantitative data to demonstrate, how many followers we are, what are our specific goals, because we need specific goals. What are we trying to aim for in terms of not just our social media goals, but how many parents and community members we reach. I appreciate the strategy that was presented to us, but it needs to be quantifiable, so we know how we're tracking against that. And then examples would be very helpful as well. So just wanted to add that on to that.
Okay, Dr. Diaz, we will prepare that.
Also, in terms of this, for me, I'm thinking about how our communications plan has changed since the last communications director left. What has changed, and then How also too, how we're specifically meeting the needs of our bilingual parents, not bilingual, but monolingual parents who speak different languages other than English, such as Spanish, and then how we're meeting how our communications efforts meeting the needs of our Black and Brown families. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carrillo.
Are there any other reports or requests?
This is Alicia Vink. My question is regarding the Mondays online learning. Has a decision been made on that? Are our students doing online learning on Mondays now?
So Dr. Vink, we had a calendar change where we eliminated the early out Wednesdays and we went to an asynchronous Monday. And Denise, you're gonna have to help me again here. And so the conversation we're gonna have on the 14th, which is the next board meeting, will be whether or not to adjust the current calendar to basically make Monday a half day like we had for Wednesdays.
I see. Okay. Well, then I think my request, along with whatever would come with the proposal for Mondays being a half day, would be to know more about where we started with this online learning, where we are now with our online learning, and what we're doing to improve that. It looks to me like we're going to have online learning for some time, even if that's the hybrid model. And just a simple presentation that says, like, these are the supports that teachers and students have right now. And then what things our teachers still need. One of the community comments, a couple of them mentioned that the teachers are needing some things. So I'm wondering if maybe the principals could provide a little bit more information, since they've done the teacher evaluations now, and we can just have some main themes of things that our teachers still need as we are discussing adding a half day Monday.
Okay. Yeah, Dr. Vink will probably want to ask you a little bit more specifically about your questions offline.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Weeks, to add on to Dr. Vink's request, I think it would be helpful in the presentation on the 14th if administration could explain, just for people who haven't taught on the board, it's helpful just to explain the rationale behind half day. Why are we recommending we switch? What are the pros? And we also would like to hear, like, what could potentially be viewed as the cons, just so we have a well-balanced understanding of the issue and we can make the most objective and informed decision that is best for the students.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's quite a bit in there now. We'll take another look at it to make sure it's got all of those points addressed.
Thank you. Are there any other requests or reports being requested? Okay, and we'll move on to requests for future agenda items. So I just want to, I know item 1 and 2 are a little, they're very similar. So for board reports and requests, and Dr. Weeks, please correct me if I'm wrong in my understanding. So for that agenda item, we would like to hear if there's specific board updates that we would get as a board that are confidential. So for instance, if we wanted to know discipline data on students of color. That could be a board report that cabinet sends to us as a confidential report, and we read it in between our meetings. And should you have additional questions or want that to be an agenda item presented to the public, then you would request that to move into an agenda item. And so that is typically how we use item number 1 for different reports that you want information on in between meetings to help inform questions that you might have or potential future agenda items. And then item 2 are once you know what you want, these are agenda items that you specifically want presentations on for future meetings. Am I saying that correctly, Dr. Weeks?
You are, Dr. Diaz. The only thing I would add to that is, let's say a board member went to a conference
Yeah.
and they received some information. It would be a board report to the rest of the governing board on what happened at that conference, what they learned, and the sharing of information. So that's something else that falls under board reports as well. A lot of times board reports is what do the board members bring to the meeting on things that they've learned. Like, for example, another one is if a board member went to a school and had a positive or maybe a negative interaction at the school site, and they wanted to report that out. So there's a lot that can fit into that board report. But you are correct. You are correct that it's also part of asking the administration for things that you all want to see.
Yep. Awesome. I know I had a lot of trouble, I think, throughout my entire first year and part of my second year distinguishing between the two. So just wanted to give you guys some lessons learned.
Well, that helped clarify it for me. And I'm 8 years old, just got the clarification on both. So I really appreciate that both very much, because every time number 1 comes up, I give you all the things I think I know. So I'll do that correctly going forward. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So are there any specific agenda items that we would like to see?
So for me, it would be the, I'm just thinking about the equity report, the strategic plan, but I'm not sure if I'm doing this right, if this would be the one to bring it up to discuss that equity, or just to have it presented to us too. And again, the same thing as what we talked about with the communications, how that's going, if the improvements to be made, what support is needed too.
Okay, Mr. Creel, I'm probably going to want to talk to you a little bit more offline.
Okay.
Are there any additional board or future agenda items? Dr. Weeks, I mentioned this to you before, but just as a reminder, once all the principals settle in and we get adjusted, continue to get adjusted to coming back from break, would love presentations from our principals with existing signature schools and how they plan to enhance their offerings and how they plan to utilize the resources around them, such as university, community resources, to really strengthen those programs and make them the best of the best in our state. So we'll defer to you on timing, but top of mind for me.
Perfect. Yep, we have some pretty excited principals in this district who are doing amazing things. So we're happy to showcase them whenever we get the opportunity.
Perfect.
We'll prepare that very soon.
Thank you.
Madam President, this is Carmen Trujillo. So would I kind of like repeat the things that I stated at number 1 for number 2? Because I do, in my head, they do hold more weight to me than just a request. And now that makes sense as far as, you know, waiting to kind of get answers or information back. So is it possible to record those as agenda items? or I just want to do it correctly now that I know the difference between the two. Because the main one was having our communications team, Mrs. Hickey Reynoso and Miss Linda Jeffries, get us a communication update as far as what's going on in our schools. And then we had already talked about the vice presidency election that we would add to the future meeting. And then just an update as far as what supplies our schools are getting from us.
Do you
Those are
want the
big
sup- you want the supplies as a board update in between meetings, or do you want the supplies as a presentation?
Well, I guess my clarifying question for that would be, would we all receive it? And then, gosh, I'm getting foggy here. So I think I would like it brought up at a meeting so we could actually have a discussion about it if need be. But if it is something minor, and I'm just incorrect about that, I would much rather it just be like a quick thing we go over and then we move on to the next thing. Because I'm not too sure what that really looks like. I'm assuming it's different for each school, but to not really know. I'm open to suggestions if I am making.
So I would suggest that we take a look at this as a board update, and there's future questions, and we can certainly bring this back to open meeting. Each supply list will be driven by grade level and program. And a lot of it was discussed when we adopted the curriculum on what would be delivered to school sites and the strategies and how those programs worked. And so, for example, when we talk about virtual deliverables, what supplemental programs in addition to the program software is provided and how are teachers being trained. So it could look like a laundry list, but it would be adopted material specific. Okay. Books, software, that kind of thing.
Well, your response actually helped kind of pull more out of my head with it. Being able to verbalize it helps. So I guess my thought with it was, were there any changes that were made where our schools, I guess what comes to mind is that resolution where the board approved our superintendent to be able to make different small changes as far as what's going on with our schools. So I just wondered if that was one of those things, I guess, that maybe that was decided outside of a board meeting. So
yeah, there's Ms. Trujillo, there's not a lot that goes on outside of a board meeting. And so I don't believe that there's been any changes or significant shifts in the volume of materials that are being given to the school sites, but let me go back and check, see if there's something there.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
This is Dr. Bink. I'm sorry. Ms. Trujillo, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding of your request was how are the current materials being delivered to students as they're learning online right now, virtually, not what materials we have necessarily, but are they getting those materials that are part of the curriculum while they're learning online? And I'm kind of hoping that that will all be wrapped into how we're online learning right now, what things are being done with the online learning. So just knowing, are our schools delivering those materials by bus? Are parents picking them up? Are teachers dropping them off? Or are the schools not utilizing any materials outside of what students have in their homes? So were you asking how the materials were getting to students versus like what materials we have?
I really was just asking what was really going on because at the beginning of the pandemic, it was something where, we either didn't have enough packets or we had a lot or things were just placed outside for pickup. So it was more just like a request to see what is going on, because I kind of understood from the community communications as far as not being able to print things for students and whatnot. That's what made me think to myself, if this one person's concerned about printed items for our students and things like that, what really is going on? So yes, the delivery was included in that thought, but also what are we providing for our teachers and students, because it's going to vary from household to household, I think.
Yes, there is some of that. And like I said, getting back to the specific programs and the requirements of the programs that we're using, and then the grade levels, right? So it's something we're going to definitely want to take a look into before we, and have a better understanding of the question before we present it to the board. That's why I say maybe if we do a board update, then we can kind of get closer to the question and then deliver a better answer.
That makes perfect sense. Thank you very much, Dr. Weeks.
Thank you, Ms. Trujillo. Are there any additional agenda items? Okay, hearing none, we will go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 7:26. Thank you all.
Thank you. Hey, congratulations. How does it feel? New board members.
Thank you. Feeling good.
Thank you. It feels great.
All right. Well, now it's welcome aboard and full steam ahead. So thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Good night.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.